it is that time of year where I get to rewrap the car. 2021 livery. I'm gonna walk out to the shop right now so you guys can see the current state of the car. Right now we're in January. I'm gonna try and make this video just like one episode is the goal and get everything from start to finish so you guys can kind of see the idea of the process, kind of get an overview of it. Right now, this is the car as is. The guys are working on it and super busy. Story of our lives, so I don't really want to interrupt Dan. This is the current state. There's always a lot of work that takes place on the car during the off season. I just mentioned that because I want to explain how it's tricky to coordinate everything and get it ready. So the guys need enough time to finish what they're working on out there. Then when it's time to wrap, it's like the last minute, of course, before like a track day or something like that to go testing, or like, okay, Renee, the car's been on the dyno and I'm taking to the track in 2 days. And it's like we need to rush to get photographs and things like that. So my point is there's always a lot of pressure to actually complete the wrap and install it. And if you guys have been watching in the past, my process is a lot of layering of material. It's not like a traditional fully wrapped car where it's a straight install. I make it difficult for myself, but it's part of, I don't know, I guess the aesthetic that I've developed subconsciously. I just really like to play with the different finishes of the materials. Kind of understood my style through that. Different materials like metallics or the chromes or satins, things like that. I kind of do a play off of that each year. I think like what we can do, I'll show you in this video. We'll kind of go through some pictures of each year and kind of what inspired them, just a quick little bit. Going into 2021, I didn't have like the same type of concept that I drew from like I have in the past, which you guys had just seen in the video, but my goal was to kind of get something like a little cleaner and kind of let some space breathe on the car as much as I'm able to by kind of simplifying the design a little bit, but still keeping it interesting again with like the materials and experimenting with some printing. This is the actual livery that I have planned. It definitely evolves over time, but at least you guys can see in this video kind of where my starting point is. This rendering is very simple, very flat. There hasn't been a lot of time and detail put into it. I believe you guys can have an imagination, see where we started. So I'm really excited about this. The whole front will be white paint. That's become pretty important to us for a drift car, like front and rear bumpers to be painted. That helps a lot throughout the year as far as keeping the car looking fresh and simplifying touch-ups. The front fender will be white paint. This is supposed to be all silver chrome vinyl. The side skirt, the door, and then my plan is to have silver chrome here, just like we had printed orange on the silver chrome last year. I'd like to do white ink printed on the silver chrome so that from a distance you're going to see this cool transition of shiny silver chrome to a white paint. That's the plan here. I'm hoping, like, it's such a small space realistically on the car, but I think that's kind of an interesting element in there. And then, just like I did last year, printed on silver chrome on the roof, I'm going to do like a black to gray kind of gradient and go exposed with silver chrome at the top. Okay, and then on the hood, you'll see this kind of faint rad pattern in the background. That pattern is something that I have kind of stuck with over the years. This is our front space at the shop. If you guys forget what it looked like, or to new subscribers, we have our wall back here that has this rad pattern. So we have like the shop doors in that. I think I've used it on some of our merch before. Oh, yeah, and I have it on my desk. That is what I plan to do on the hood with. I'm planning to use, again, this is all in the works, so you guys will see. We'll see at the end of the video if I end up with all of these original ideas or how far I've kind of changed from them. But this is Avery Satin White. I used just a sample from one of our regular decals of RAD Industries and just chopped it up a little bit. This is the look that I'm going for. So pretty much what's been done is a decal will be applied to the hood of the car. I've done something similar to this in the past. The hood just got damaged on a track day. Dan was really sad about that. But so you lay the decal on the hood, and then I'm gonna go on top of it, wrap on top of it with satin white. Something that I've noticed in the past is that if it's like a satin or a metallic, you're gonna get that dimensional effect that you're shooting for with this. I don't know that it would show up as much if you did like a gloss, maybe it would with chrome, but in this case I wanted the white to kind of contrast from glossy white paint, so I went satin. Ideally, it would be great to go matte white, but I have heard that matte white can stain pretty well, and that definitely proved to be true because I went out to the shop while the guys were working and had them kind of rub their fingers on matte, which is right here, and that is like on there, and the more you try to get it off, the more it just rubs in. This is the satin that I'm planning on using. The satin seemed to clean off a little better, and that's without any actual product or anything to clean it down, like our RAD Fresh products that we use. So I think that's definitely the route to go. That will be the hood. The RAD Industries, we wanted it to be kind of subtle, just so that there's that space and so that we can kind of balance out like our sponsors and stuff. So from a distance, depending on the reflection at the track and the lighting outside, that RAD is going to most likely like either pop or kind of just fade and disappear into the silvers. So you can kind of see last year the logo had white trim around it, so you can see depending on the light where that's going to really contrast or really blend. So I'm excited about that because I wanted something kind of subtle for our logo, and this gives you an example. This was just a friend's like sample logo. I made it some decals from a couple years back. You can kind of see, like, depending on the light, how it's going to show. Little moments like that I think are kind of what I have noticed for people to kind of look at twice, or something that they kind of appreciate. That part is just kind of fun to me when I can kind of switch up the materials in that way. Oh, that's one thing. I had looked at Avery black and 3M black. I pulled up KPMF's black. Actually put it up against Dan's black Supra. This guy up here, he named that one Christmas. So I put this up against Christmas, which is the Toyota black, and it was the richest black. I'm hoping I can go with KPMF versus Avery or 3M black. So that kind of gives you the color scheme of what we have going on for this year. So I'm really excited to bring in the nice, crisp, clean boldness between the black and the white. Silver is going to look beautiful with that, and then just some accents of blue. I'm really excited about it. I was able to get a sample of that direct print white ink on silver chrome, which is a little tricky to come across. Not all printers print white. I had to resource that. This is what we have, that kind of effect. There's 3 samples here. It's kind of weird that for whatever reason they ran these and it overlapped. It's a little hard to make out, but I will explain it. This one is 80% to 0%. The white's kind of starting to break up. That's hard to tell between the 80 and 100. And this one's 25 to 0. And the 25, you can kind of even see it almost creates a texture. Like the chrome is kind of coming through that. So we don't want to go that route. I'm really happy with 100%, and you can kind of see, like, even here, you can kind of see that effect that we're going for. Just because these were sample proofs, this has like kind of a break right here, but that'll get cleaned up in the final runs of it. This is raw material and ink, so it's not laminated. I still have to sample out, like a gloss laminate will change the tint of this. We used a gloss laminate on last year's silver chrome that had print, and it didn't seem to affect the chrome at all, so that was a huge plus. I thought for sure it would kind of mute out some of the reflections, but that was not the case. That is kind of where I'm at in this process. We'll see how it goes. I'll try and take you guys with me to the printers. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, see you later. Hey, you guys. Okay, so it's February now, and the first big step for the livery coming together. Dan and Mark got the panels to paint so I can like start visualizing the actual look. I have a good imagination because there's not much right now, but hopefully you guys can appreciate it. We have our nice solid black rear. It looks so good. The taillights look beautiful with it. I love this because we've always kind of had, obviously, blue. There's kind of like a harsher contrast between the bumper and the hatch. I really, really like what's going on here. Kind of makes the Supra look that much more mean too. It's such a different look for Dan's Supra. This kind of gives you a feel of how the silver chrome is going to look with the white. I've been waiting to see this like nice pop, and it looks so cool in the shop. We've always liked the past liveries. We get excited every year. I'm just excited for it to have a completely different look. I'm still gonna try to work as much blue in there as I possibly can. We're not gonna get rid of blue chrome. This is just the beginning. How nice the headlights look. So different. I'm super excited. I probably should have filmed earlier. I was like literally jumping up and down because I've been wanting to use a combination of white and silver chrome for a while now. Stay tuned. All right. I got a call from Montroy today. They're really close to our shop. I was able to pick up some of our material. So we got the goods coming in. I have Avery silver chrome here and KPMF black and Avery satin white. So we're still waiting on the gloss white and blue chrome to come in, but it's getting real, guys. Okay, it is Saturday. Dan, Mark, and Evgeny are at Willow Springs right now for Odie's field drift session. They're having a track day. Seems like a lot of fun. I really wanted to be there, but I think there's gonna be a lot of like really good tandems. We'll link the video in this video since this is coming out later so you guys can get filled in. I had to stay back. Sometimes we get a little more done on Saturday, especially if it's something that is a little more for Formula Drift than just our normal like day-to-day business. I don't mind, happy to be here. Super windy outside right now. Santa Ana winds. I don't know if you guys can tell, there's like a bunch of dust blowing around. Turbo's got his eyes on the front. Today I'm going to spend some time on measuring out a couple of things on the car. You would think that like I have my measurements set and everything's to scale after multiple years of doing this, but the design just happens to change often enough to where I still need to measure out, especially now that I'm kind of starting to print on the material. I'm starting to measure out like where the print needs to start and end as far as a gradient. I'm gonna start getting those files set up today. It's much better to do it on days when like obviously the guys are still working on the car. We can all be out of each other's way, so I have the whole place to myself. It's kind of nice. It'll get too quiet a little later. I wanted to show you guys what I'm trying to figure out right now and how I'm setting things up. Right now I'm working on kind of the roof space. I usually split it up in 2 sections each time. We have like the little hole for the antenna here. It blends well, so I seam it right in the center. That way I can install it as 1 piece, 2 piece. I'm printing black on here. I'm trying to figure out where I want that black to kind of start gradating into the raw silver chrome. And I also want it angled rather than just straight. I'm right here. Right now I'm measuring out. I'm gonna set up on my computer over here. This was last year's file where we kind of had it go from blue, purple to orange, and then into silver. So I'm kind of using that as a base since I know that had worked last year, and it'll be much simpler to figure out this year because I'm only using 1 color and I know where I want that color to start breaking off. Working on setting that up right now. Okay, so I hope you guys can find some of this interesting. I'm trying to get this just right. The tricky part is that I need to get as solid black as I can printed on the silver chrome, at least up to here, up to this part of the window, or enough into here, because the frame of the window, I don't think the guys have changed it. It does have a black paint like frame around the edge of it. So that helps, but it would look cleaner if I can get the silver chrome to print solid black as I can up to this edge here. So that brings us to right around, I think I estimated around 38 just to be safe. My gradient is going to start from here up through this part of the pillar here. What I'm trying to do is expose as much silver as I can in this area because the car always looks really pretty like that. So I'm trying to really gradate that in a small space. I guess that's the part that I'm really trying to figure out. Okay, I came up with a very simple solution. I get there eventually. I think think the best way to do this, see, last year I had printed a stroke, which is just ultimately a line, like a frame around the print. So I kind of knew where to cut it out. What I can do is send it to the printer, set it up properly to where I have enough raw silver material to work with here. So I won't have that line going around it. So this is the range that I'm trying to work within right here. By having that extra material at the top, I can simply just change the placement of this, and then I can place my angle where I want it, how it hits the window, if I give myself enough black and silver up at the top and bottom of it. I think that is the best solution that I've been able to come up with for that part that I think is critical. So this is how much time I spend on these tiny little things, you guys, but it's kind of how I get the final result. Okay, I'm on to the next thing here, the front fender. This is the next printed material portion that I will be doing. What I'm debating on and why I'm kind of hating myself. So the door is going to be silver chrome. This is going to be silver chrome, and then we're going to start gradating white ink onto it. My initial plan was to just go right here and make it be white and then silver. I'm not sure why I thought right there it would make sense to just print all the way. So the entire fender gets fully wrapped. That is not ideal because we want to battle, and we want to battle hard. These fenders are going to get a lot of touch-up throughout the season, which is just kind of like poor planning on my part with the design. In addition to that, I also designed it. I was like, I'm just going to go all the way. It needs to be done. The skirt is also going to be all silver chrome. So these are like critical areas on the car, aside from the front bumper and rear bumper. At least, thank God, those are just being painted. I think I'm gonna give in, and rather than just wrapping a portion of the fenders, the front fenders, I'm gonna go all the way so that the white will blend between the front bumper and where the fender meet. So it still works design-wise. It's just gonna be a little additional work throughout the season. Mark's gonna help me, right, Mark? Now I'm gonna start setting up my file for that. This is another reason why, I don't know, it's so much fun doing this, because when you come across things like that and you figure out how to come up with a solution with a dilemma like that, it just makes the card that much more unique, and I always know I'm headed in the right direction, because that makes it kind of different from the others as far as like what's possible for a standard car wrap, and we never want to be that. So I do my best to, I don't know, I don't even try actually. I'm just really good at making it difficult for us. But it pays off, and you guys like it. I hope you'll like this one. If you guys can hear that, they got the car started today. It's like really good timing, because I'm gonna be ready to hopefully start unwrapping the car the next few days. Maybe tomorrow if I'm lucky. Yeah. It's alive. The latest on the livery coming together. I was able to get files that I sent in over the weekend. Those got printed up. It's nothing that exciting right now, you guys. It's just literally black and white prints on like a cheap 20-pound bond paper. That's just something that I'd like to do over time before I cut any of our really beautiful material that Montroy has supplied us with. I don't want to go and like cut a large piece of silver chrome and it not line up with the rest of the graphics that I use for how I layer my materials. I will literally go old school arts and crafts style and hand cut out most of those shapes, see how it lays out on the car. A little behind the scenes of a confession. Our dog Turbo is out at the shop with us very often. He's not quite living up to his name. This poor little guy. He just hates the sound of the cars. He wants to take cover under my desk every time. Turbo! Turbo! Hey buddy! You know that car. Or you just want to lick the carpet. Turbo is a little more comfortable around baby blue. He's not one into like full horsepower apparently. Sorry guys. Okay, it's starting to happen. Today, I'm hoping to at least get to wrap the doors. Dan made me this really convenient roller. We're growing out of this building. It's like packed. Give Guinea space. Probably gonna be moving him out here temporarily so that I can still work in that room. But this is kind of how I cut down my material. I know that my doors, I need approximately 58 inches by 33. I'm getting ready to cut this down right now. You guys will see the doors at least get some silver today. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys kind of looking at the areas that I need to cut on the hood. What I'm doing right now is just taking a section of that. This is like 9 by 12 inches, and I'm testing it cut out on a different material that will be the underlayer. I preferably want something that's like a little thicker. This is a kind of matte metallic, like frosted blue vinyl that I have plenty of. I don't know the actual thickness of it. It's a little thicker than other materials, I'm hoping. A few things I'm kind of concerned about is the fact that I'm using a satin white material. I haven't used that before, so I'm not too familiar with it. I don't know if you're going to see the carbon from the hood coming through it, and I don't know if we're going to see this blue kind of tint through that. So I'm doing a little tested swatch. I did notice I did my test cuts on the cutter, and the pressures were great, but now that I'm getting into more intricate cuts, I need more pressure on this because this will be a nightmare to weed for the dimensions, like 18 inches wide by 53 inches long. So we will see how this turns out. A little bit of trial and error along the way, but it's better to do that in small portions before I do the full size. Okay, I think we're in luck. It's so subtle. I think it keeps it something interesting to look at once you get up close to the car rather than just like plain white. You have to add a little something in there. I see nothing coming through the white, which is great. Makes sense, it's good quality Avery material. Yeah, so now I know that I can go and cut my material to the actual width and full length that I need for the hood. Now I'm working on the front fender here, and I'm really glad I dumbed this down for myself and printed on paper first, because I'm able to kind of refine what I have going on here. So obviously this kind of black frame is what I was planning on having be the final print. This is supposed to be like exposed silver chrome. I want more of that right here based on my art. I do have the RAD logo coming in towards that front fender, kind of close to the wheel. So I want that contrast of the white RAD logo against the silver chrome to still take place in this section here. This is kind of the edge of the front fender. I can lose 6 inches here, trim down that a little bit, and then I'm gonna add 12 inches going this way of the edge of my print. Saved myself there. I think if I was kind of like stronger in my illustrations and my renderings being more accurate, then I would probably avoid things like that, but this is the best way that I figured out. It's working so far. It's literally like 5 hours later. That's just how it goes. I can finally get to the car. It's just kind of stop and go when it's a weekday like this. Finally getting ready to wrap the door though. Maybe like a half hour ago, and got that done like real quick except the finishing edges. And I was like laying down on the floor trying to get the bottom part of it, and then the car gets running. Obviously getting the car going is number one, but it's like so funny, it just happens every time where we all end up on the car at the same time of the day. I try to prevent that, and it's just like not meant to be. So that's why people always ask me like, how long does it take you? You guys, I have no idea, and I don't know if I'll ever know, because it's so stop and go. Let's going. The exhaust is just too strong. I don't mind the noise or anything like that, but I don't really feel like being under the car, finishing the edge of the door right now. I don't know if I'll get to the second door tonight. Could have easily, but now it's on hold. Now I'm just gonna eat my like most favorite thing nowadays. I'm addicted to hard-boiled eggs. I don't know, but with sriracha. That's probably the main reason why. Okay, it was a good day. Made some progress. About 8 o'clock now, not bad at all. Got the driver door complete and we got the passenger door complete. So it's pretty cool to kind of see this whole white, silver, and black kind of coming together. Have a vision. I see it coming together, you guys. One other thing I didn't mention today, I decided that we're going to make the entire hood white. Before I just had like the edges set to be white. I felt like it was too harsh of a contrast and to really get that like fresh effect of the white on track. I think it'll be better if this is white. So Dan wasn't very happy because that means it has to go to paint and everything else went to paint. But JP at JV Auto Body is gonna take care of us. It's nice to like get this done and know that tomorrow I won't be in the guy's way for that part. I have a couple other things, but this is the end of the day here at RAD. Hi, Turbo. Hey, little shop dog. What are you doing?
Crashing my field scout.
I know, that's not a Supra. It's gonna take time, you guys. We still haven't dialed in the settings. It's been getting better and better, but there's so much to learn about it. So if you guys have any pointers, let us know. All right, till tomorrow. We're back. Today I dropped some material off at Boss Wraps to get printed. The guys took the hood to JP at JV Auto Body to get painted white. In the meantime, just because I want to make sure I have as much as I can together so that once I physically wrapping on the car, I'll have everything cut and masked and ready. At least that's the plan. Little cutter that could. That's going. So that's the passenger side of the hood getting cut. This is the driver's side. Believe it or not, it literally only took me like maybe 15 minutes to weed this out. I finally got the right like blade height and pressure on the cutter, so I cut really nicely. Now I just have to go in, take all the counters out of the letters like this. It's a lot of fun. It actually is kind of therapeutic. So I'm gonna get that set up. Okay, it's yet another day. Finally getting to get back to this. So I'm going to start with the hood today, because it's already back from paint. Magic. Thanks, Mark. Huh? He dropped off the hood just yesterday. It's already back and painted. JP killed it. So because I have these decals ready from yesterday and I have my satin white, I'm gonna get going on that. So I'm still waiting on a few prints that Dan's actually going to pick up from Boss right now for me to kind of roll with the side of the car. So I set these up, kind of played with them for a few minutes because I want them both like converging to the point of the car. Okay guys, it's now like 7 o'clock in the evening. I started on the driver's side of the hood. I didn't get to show you like the last few steps. We'll start from here and I'll fill you in once I get to that stage in it, and then I'll show you the end product. The decals on the hood, and now I'm going to lay the satin white on top of that. Again, this is like why I used a satin material so that you can actually get the dimension. Okay, this is when it's really fun to work with vinyl because you can just go on like nice big surfaces like this and it goes fairly quick and you can actually see like the pretty parts of the vinyl and the finish coming through. I love that. It's like really satisfying. Right now, I'm just going to go over this and really like kind of get these edges set, and then I'll go back over also and with the heat gun and just get like all that detail. You can kind of see that. Otherwise, like, this is a perfect example. Like, you have to go in and define those edges.
Alright, so Renee starts wrapping the car. Usually at the end of the day, like, we'll have worked all day, and then it starts to mellow out here at the shop, like less business going on for like customer stuff at the shop or whatever Renee's doing at her desk and all the above. And then it's like time to put in the overtime and wrap the car, like what she's doing.
So you know what that means. We're both tired.
That means, yes, I'm tired and I will go and go and go when there's something I need to do on the car. But then I don't wrap the car, I don't know how to wrap the car, I'm not trying to learn how to wrap the car, and I don't want to help wrap the car. Just to be nice, like, and not just be like, well, I'm done, I'm leaving. I don't want Renee to be stuck in here by herself inside the shop, and I'm not gonna like go home without her. So every year for the last 6 years, I will like stay around, you know, like sit in a chair, or when we used to have a couch in this break room over here, I would be in here on the couch. Not because like I'm tired and just ignoring Renee, not want to help her. I'm just like, okay, I'm present. I would be sleeping on the, or not sleeping, just on my phone right there. Now there's no couch, so I was laying on the floor right there. Could have been playing this, but I just had a long week and I don't want to be. I just stay here out of like, I guess, respect for Renee, just to be here with her to keep her company. If she needs my help, I'll help.
Great support.
But then she like expects me to be like at 100% like on this with her, and I'm just like, what the heck? You're not there when I'm building the car. I don't even expect you to stay here.
Right now, I told him to get on camera and talk about the funny times we've had when we were like under pressure of wrapping the car, and he's just going on and on about. It's really funny. This is like the true behind the scenes kind of stuff, because we will get in like yelling matches in the shop, and one year I like kicked something from like that door to that wall, almost broke my toe because I was so upset. Because like usually this year so far it's okay, but usually like really tight deadlines, you know? And
True.
This year I feel like we're kind of ahead, so we haven't hit that point yet, but usually the guys are still working on the car and I'm working around them, or we're trying to coordinate things, and they have their own challenges and I have my challenge, and yeah, it gets interesting around here. So we kind of like, at least we got to a point where we can laugh about it.
Yeah,
Right?
I had to literally break it down exactly how I just broke it down for you guys. Why I'm even here still at night. I'm like, Renee, I don't need to be here. I'm gonna leave next time if you're gonna be mad at me.
No,
and then
our biggest arguments have been when you're like, are you done yet? Hurry up.
no, that's when we're midday, when the deadline is so close. It's midday and she's on it, and I'm like trying to move the car to do something. I'm like, we're going to the dyno, or we're test driving the car right now, and then she's like, no, I'm wrapping the side skirt. Take the side skirt off. And then we'll freak out and yell at each other.
I'm like, this is the last year.
Dang, side skirt. Oh yeah, it was 2017 or 18. I will never wrap your car again. And then like, she likes wrapping it too much, so it always happens. Okay, that's it for now, guys. See you soon.
Okay, you guys, I finished kind of heat setting all of that. Got some nice edges. And since we have a second hand now, I'll give you an up close look at the knife listing. Okay, so I don't remember who showed me a trick. Oh, look at Turbo.
Sleeping pup.
This has helped me when I have it stuck down, and then kind of bend it, and you want to try and pull that center, and then this is what is going to cut our material. When you first start, like luckily I don't have to worry about this being too clean of an edge. You just want to kind of feed it through like that. Okay, here we go. Ta-da! It's like really helpful. And then you have these two split strips here. Make sure you don't leave that under your material. I've done that before. And you can just peel up. See that? Pretty cool. This finish line.
Finish line by 3M. 3M would be the world's best sponsor to have. They'd kind of do something of everything. So the back is 202 Toyota, and I believe the front is 040 Toyota. Both Toyota Supra colors, and we got it in the front, and then the back, and then the center is just gonna be Avery Chrome, right, Renee?
Yeah, ish.
Toyota, Avery, Toyota. Cool. That's my fun fact for the day. I'll talk to you guys later.
That's it for tonight. Dan gets to go to sleep now. He might be a little tired. Got both sides done. It's pretty cool, you guys. I think it's gonna look nice once we have some added color on this fresh slate. It's a nice detail. That'll be cool to see once you get up close to the car. So come visit us in the pits and see the Supra up close.
Yes.
Good night, you guys.